Celebrity historian Raffi Andonian is back, making his long-awaited return. And we're talking all things July, including why this month is National Ice Cream Month. Don't miss this fun and flavorful chat.
Woohoo!
Well, July is National Ice Cream Month. So during the heat of the summer, we're joined by the coolest celebrity historian, Raffi Andonian.
Yes, he is here to give us a look at the cool history of ice cream from its beginning around the world to right here in the United States. Raffi, how's it going?
Welcome back.
It's going good.
Yeah.
Of course, I brought some ice cream
You did.
for you all.
You sure did.
Local Arkansas, Yarnell's, of course, longtime local Arkansas. For more than a century.
Generations and generations and generations of people have loved some Yarnell's.
Absolutely.
I have to ask, who invented ice cream?
Good question.
Well, in Arkansas, Yarnell's was Ray Yarnell, if you will. But long before ice cream in Arkansas, there was in the ancient world, as you might imagine, various frozen sweet treats.
Yeah.
Not quite ice cream as we might see it, but there is that sort of precedent of those frozen sweet treats early. But I think closer to what we consider ice cream would be in the Islamic world, something known as sherbet, which we still kind of deal with, right? And actually, in the Mediterranean world, which actually my grandmother used to make, is something where you have kind of like a rice or noodle type thing in a yogurt added with some sweet in it.
Yeah.
And it'd be almost like a I don't know, like a pudding almost, kind of borderline ice cream. But the way we think of ice cream, I would trace to Italy. And in maybe the 17th century, just a few hundred years ago, which in the scheme of things is more recent.
Yeah.
And of course spreads across Europe into France. And what's funny about the European aspect of Italian in particular is ice cream parlors about 100+ years ago in the United States, getting into the era of Yarnell starting out, were actually considered scandalous in the United States. That's right, in part because of the sort of, the Italian immigrants were not very welcome in that period. So it was kind of being run by Italian immigrants and ice cream being an Italian thing. It was like, well, if you go into the ice cream parlor, you might get into prostitution or something like that. And think about the term parlor. When you think about at home, it's a formal receiving space that's usually with a chaperone. But now these young single ladies go into a parlor where you're not being able to be chaperoned at home becomes a scandalous place.
Oh,
interesting.
Lordy.
When I think of Italian ice cream, I think of gelato.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Absolutely.
I mean, was that one of the original recipes,
absolutely.
I suppose?
It is, absolutely. Because you have variations, right? Different cultural variations. I think the ice cream form, specifically the way we think of it, like the Yarnell's, is more French. It's kind of the French take, I would say, on Italian. Which is how it came to the United States. See, Thomas Jefferson spent time in France in the 1780s, and when he fell in love with ice cream over there, the French version of it, brought it back to the United States, later became president of the United States, and when he was president, he served. We have first-hand accounts of this. I've seen him at least 6 times. In the White House, ice cream and ice cream with like a crust or different kind of ice cream dishes. And Jefferson only ever wrote 10 recipes down in his own hand. One of them was for ice cream.
Oh, wow.
So it shows you just how important it was for him.
So, we're talking about like the French version and the Italian version. Yeah. Is there like a big difference between the two?
I would say so, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, I would say more like Italian is more like the gelato, that kind of that texture that gelato has, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the French version is probably more closer to what we're used to in the United States, which is that I would say that that harder kind of creamy, harder kind
when
of.
When I think of that gelato, it's a little softer, right?
Exactly.
This stuff comes
exactly. It's a little
harder.
bit different. Now, what's interesting is Yarnell's actually had some innovations itself. For example, it had a predecessor company here in Arkansas.
Tell me about the
tell me about the predecessor.
And Ray Yarnell actually didn't start the company. He bought out the company that was his predecessor.
Oh.
And Ray Yarnell was known as a fireball salesman of the ice cream stuff. And one of the things that was innovative is that in that particular period, ice cream was actually a lot softer, kind of like the Italian style that was kind of getting popular with the Italian immigrants bringing that in the early 20th century. These guys went a little bit different direction, the firmer texture that we're used to, that I think is closer to what Jefferson actually was doing 120 years prior to them. So it's kind of interesting thing how you kind of go back and forth in these different styles, if you will. But Yarnell and the predecessor company were part of it, but because he was such a great salesman, he bought them out. And during the Depression, actually, used all the cash that he had, got a loan against his life insurance policy.
Oh, my gosh.
Had his kid running bike routes to be delivering ice cream. This is how they had a whole winter where they didn't sell a single manufactured piece of ice cream.
Wow.
Can you believe that? They made it through that and made it almost a century become an Arkansas centerpiece.
And now we get to enjoy it every day if you want to.
Thank you, Mr. Yarnell.
That's right, especially during the summer. And thank you, Raffi, for bringing this and also kind of giving us a little bit of history of ice cream.
Thanks for chilling out with us today.
Nice.
That's right.
Nice. Nice. Hopefully you're enjoying some ice cream, staying cool in these warm temperatures. Who wants warm ice cream? Nobody.
Ew.
Yeah, that's right. We're just enjoying ourselves, a little picnic here.
We are.
Yes. Honey drink for you.
Honey drink.
Thanks to Noshings for Nicole joining us on the show.
Yes.
Thanks to all of our guests, Raffi Andonian, the cast of Oklahoma, fantastic lineup. Thanks as well to our sponsors, Beat Me Up, Fayetteville Public Library, Crystal Bridges and the Momentary, and Walton Arts Center.
And if you haven't already, make sure you find, like, and follow us on social media because we're posting our interviews, hot topics, performances, and more. Just search Good Day NWA.